it took me about 20 years of real estate experience, investing and developing experience about the last 6 years. I'm gonna teach you in hundreds of seconds. All right, here we go. So when it deals with a development, this is a development that we've worked on before. This is 0 Shepherd Road, right? And here's the property right now. This is actually one that we're currently working on. It's 1.7 acres. This is from one of our partners that is a dentist. So we, true investors, myself, I'm the lead CEO, developer on this process. So we created a conceptual plan of the dentistry that he wants right here, and we're attaching 2 separate quadplexes right next to it, okay? So this is pretty much what that looks like. So now I'm gonna show you how we came up with these ideas of it, right? So if you go, remember, you always want to start with what is the buildable maximum square footage that you could actually put on the site. The only thing is, this site originally had, this is the site right here, 1.7, and there is wetlands here. We discovered that, but then we have to put also a wetland buffer. So typically somebody will purchase a site, but they have no idea, they don't have the studies, they don't have anybody that is assisting them with this at all. So this outline is the outline of the property. There's a small easement here that we actually negotiated with the county that we could take over this easement. Gives us more square footage. But there's buffers, right? This is a main strip. He wants his dentistry and we want cash flow. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what we did and how we made it work. So what you wanna do is on these sites, we started coming up with the different conceptual plans. So a conceptual plan is basically an idea of what's possible on the site, period. But you do have to make sure once you're doing these conceptual plans, you have to factor in, okay, you've got to get all your studies done. You've got to actually work with local municipalities. You've got to actually have a great civil engineer on your team, possibly an architect later on. After you have the approvals of what you want to do, which I'm showing you right now, then what you're doing is you're saying, okay, what's possible on this site? We've got an office building for the dentistry, and we have 2 apartments right here, quadplexes, right? That we actually want, I'm sorry, not quadplexes, 2 triplexes. So then this is another conceptual plan, because you have to come up with different ideas of what's possible on the site. See, the acquisition is the most important. So when you're acquiring a site, that is the most important item. So when you're acquiring, this is important. That is extremely important. But if you don't know what's buildable at all, right here, if you do not know what's buildable, you're wasting your money. So then we had another plan. Well, what if we put the parking over here? We have this buffer and we're only gonna put 1 unit or 1 triplex. You know, so you have to come up with different situations before you actually make or create a site. So this is on one property that we are creating. I think we created, I think it was like 6 different, yeah, there's one more. Yeah, 6 different sites on what's potentially there. So this was what it would look like. Again, just kind of give you an outline. Wetland over here, so then you have to get a wetland delineation study. You've got, we wanted 9 units each. That's not gonna work. 6,000 square foot here, private road, main strip, right? So this is what that kind of looks like right here. So hopefully this is kind of giving you an overview, a back-end view of what's possible on the site. Now, this right here, these are site plan review sets. This is not total construction, but what we're doing is saying, okay, we got a topo boundary tree survey. This is what we want to do with the parking. This is how it would look on the construction side of things. This is horizontal work. Horizontal means basically you're going from horizontal work, to keep it really simple. In land, you have raw land, right? That means nothing's done. Then you're gonna have the approved and entitled. That means you're gonna approve this site right here. You're gonna approve the plans that you want on this site, right? So that could look like that. That means you're gonna do all the studies, you're gonna work. This could take anywhere from 3 months to 2 years. It all matters how big the site is, right? So they call that approved and entitled, or some other people can call that the shovel-ready status, right? So you got shovel-ready status. Then after that, Then you have the horizontal stage. These are stages that you're going to go through. Then you have vertical stage. That means now you're going horizontal, utilities, groundwork, everything else. Then you're going vertical. And then whatever kind of exit that you want. So that could be, sale, lease, retail, whatever you want is going to be on this exit side, right? So hopefully this is making sense, but this kind of gives you the back end view of what I would call a true developer that actually is in this business, that you really kind of have to be hands-on. You don't want to just trust your civil engineer on everything. You want to actually figure out what is happening, what is going on, and it starts, you win when you buy. If you have a great property, you have a long due diligence, you win when you buy. And then through that, you're negotiating, you're creating, this particular deal, we had a great deal on the land, 1.7 acres. I think we got it for less than 200,000. Amazing deal on the land. The only thing is now the studies are costing because we want this property to be cash flow positive with the dentistry and to two triplexes as well. So if you've got a piece of land or you're interested in possibly working together and learning more about what we're up to, because I really want to my goal is to get more knowledge of real estate development out there. What I found on the marketplace, there really isn't great knowledge pertaining to true investors and true developers that are really on the field. I'm not talking about just sitting behind an office. Actually being in the field, figuring it out, getting things done, negotiating with local municipalities, attorneys, and everything else, just to make something happen. When you see retail or apartment buildings and business parks and, a dentistry or anything else that you see, like it took somebody like myself to get a lot of work done to get that thing to go from horizontal to vertical. So hopefully this helps. I did promise you I would show you and I would teach you what took me 20 years of the investing side, about 6+ years just on the developing side. And I would show you it as much as I possibly can and train you on the acquisition and how we did everything in hundreds of seconds. So hopefully you got something out of it. All right, my name is Franklin Cruz. Again, you can go to trueinvestors.com, if you want more information of what we offer and the case studies that we worked on as well. All right, bye.